from the Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
This morning, National Guard troops are on orders to mobilize, preparing to head to the southern border for what Texas Governor Rick Perry is calling Operation Strong Safety, with a hefty price tag of $12 million per month.
What we're asking the National Guard to do is to be a force multiplier, to be there as a partner with the law enforcement.
By next month, 1,000 National Guard troops will be there.
Okay, folks, there you go. A news report on the fact that Governor Perry sending National Guard troops to the border. Lots of people don't like that. Joining us now is the Executive Director of the Center for Immigration Studies and columnist for National Review, Mark Krikorian. Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good. Always good to talk to you, Mark. This 1,000 troop crew of the National Guard that Governor Perry is sending to the border, do they have any real authority to do anything?
I mean, the way the governor referred to them as a force multiplier is probably an accurate description, because they can't actually arrest anybody. They can detain illegal immigrants temporarily if they find them, but only the Border Patrol can arrest people. They can do a lot of good if they work with the Border Patrol. They can do surveillance, they can do transportation of illegal immigrants, they can do a lot of the, if you will, the back office work that Border Patrol agents are now doing, paperwork, all of that stuff, which is actually pulling huge numbers of agents off the line, so that they're making sandwiches and filling out paperwork instead of trying to keep illegal immigrants and smugglers out of the country. So it can help. There's no question that this can be useful. The question is, one, will the administration actually partner with the Texas National Guard and help them do good? And the second is that it's really only step one. There's all kinds of things the president himself is the only person who could do, because this flow in South Texas is a creation of the president's own non-enforcement policies. So at some point, you can have National Guard and Border Patrol agents stacked up like cordwood along the whole border. And if Obama is still president and is still basically just letting illegal immigrants into the country, it's not going to make any difference.
Right. And you talk about Obama, and you wrote a great piece hitting the boiling point over the border, where you talk about that tale of a frog allowing itself to be boiled to death if the temperature is raised slowly enough, and you talk about how that's probably not true, but the left and the right have both counted on us as Americans to allow that to happen with the border. And you also talk about President Obama and his quote-unquote prosecutorial discretion, which has basically eroded many of the laws involving illegal immigrants.
Yeah, I mean, prosecutorial discretion is a fancy way of saying that cops and law enforcement have a certain amount of flexibility. They have to. For instance, if a policeman stops you for speeding, and the car isn't stolen, there's no warrants for your arrest, checks out all that stuff. You have a toddler in the back who's crying because she needs to have her diaper changed. There's no dope in your car. The cop often will say, please slow down, sir. I'm just going to give you a warning this time. That's prosecutorial discretion. Case by case, a cop using his own judgment. What the president has done has used that as a pretext for exempting whole classes of people from the immigration law. He has basically said, if you're a regular illegal alien who's inside the country and isn't a rapist or a murderer, you're home free.
Right. He's taken whole parts of the law. Yeah, he's taken whole parts of the law and said we're not going to enforce it, or we're going to change. We're going to enforce it this way, which to me is one of the also should be added onto the John Boehner lawsuit.
Yeah, clearly should be. I was actually, it still might be because that lawsuit hasn't been filed, but right. I don't know why the president's lawlessness on immigration, as well as other things like Obamacare and what have you, weren't in that lawsuit or talk of the lawsuit from the very beginning, because the president is basically saying Congress gets to write whatever they want in the law, and then I get to just pick and choose which laws I want to enforce, and I get to rewrite the ones I don't like. And that's dangerous way beyond just immigration policy.
All right, Mark, tell us what, and you got your finger on the pulse. It's been off the front pages for a few weeks now, and because of the Israeli situation, and now with, of course, the plane crash last week. What's happening with these? We call them kids, but I saw a report that most of these youngsters are 15, 16 years old. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, the large majority are just teenagers. I mean, it's anybody under 18. So they're minors. There's no question about there being minors, but they're not children. Some of them are, but the vast majority of the children coming in are actually coming in with as family units. They're coming in with family, and these special rules that exist for unaccompanied minors crossing the border simply don't apply to them. And the administration has been trying to make it look like the whole issue down there is 8-year-olds wandering around in the desert alone. And there isn't very much of that, quite frankly. We're talking about teenage boys or younger kids coming with often single moms, sometimes whole families. That's a regular illegal immigration situation, not something that requires, special protections and special rules. President is hiding behind those rules, and the media, which is, predisposed to do what the president wants anyway, is feeding into that storyline about how this is just about cute little kids with teddy bears wandering aimlessly alone across the border. Nothing could be further from the truth.
All right, and are they still? We got a minute left. Are they still being flown all around the country, or is that lessened?
They're still letting them go. I mean, the number of people coming in seems to have dropped off a little bit. It's not clear that that's a permanent thing, and they are in fact just being given a summons to show up to court and being let go. And the Dallas paper just did a story. They went to immigration court yesterday. 20 of these unaccompanied minors were scheduled for hearings. Only 2 of them showed up.
Yeah. Well, now they're able to take their order to show up in court and get board a plane and fly anywhere they want. So good luck with that. Hey, Mark, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Mark Krikorian here on the Steve Malzberg Show. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact that this is still going on. And we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that, as Mark so correctly alluded to, these are not 8-year-olds for the most part who just came here with nobody. These are teenagers, and these are kids with a mom, and it's a bad situation. All right, stay tuned now for your Newsmax Now update right after this.